Hey ladies. Sorry, my head's so close. I was just finishing a cup of tea. Just got off a call with a group coaching thing, so ready to rumble tonight. We'll see who joins us, who comes in. It's a topic on disappointment. It's a topic on setbacks. When we have setbacks in business or in other parts of life, and when things don't go to plan, they don't go according to our expectations, how do we deal with them? Because so often, and it's not just about our business, but a lot of women in coaching businesses that I speak with, they might be all gung-ho, they might be all excited, they've got this new strategy, they've got this new idea, they've got this way that they think they're going to get a lead, the way they're going to get a sale, the way they're going to get a client, and they think, bang, this is going to work, and I'm going to get 3 clients this month, so I'm going to get 10 leads this month, I'm going to get 10 calls this month, and there's all this focus on these numbers that they want, and then as soon as it doesn't happen, they can be gutted, they can be shattered, and they can fall in a heap, stop doing any action, stop taking any progress, and potentially even give up on their business altogether sometimes. But if not, they slow down, they stop taking action, which is going to be stopping our ability to get the result we want anyway. And so that's an example where this can come out in business. Say hey if you're watching, ladies, as well, because I can't always see who's watching at the time. Or if you're watching the replay, tell me you're watching it as well and give me any comments. Always love that. So the other thing that happens when I used to be in the health and weight niche, so many times, hey Kate, good to see you. So many times women would say, I'm going to lose 5 kilos this month, or I'm going to lose 1 kilo this week, or, set these numbers and I'm going to eat this amount of food, this healthy food and never go back to sugar or whatever, right? Cool, good job. You're on 2. How are you doing that? You're a woman. That's how you are. You're a multitasker. So many times we can have that. But again, what would happen is they wouldn't get the result. And so then they'd just stop the actions. And they'd actually do things that were going to stop getting the result even further. Okay? I know as well, even in relationships, this can happen. Where I know for me, like when I was facing my separation, my breakup with my husband, and even other times when I was looking at potentially dating other men in that time, if I had expectations on how that would go, I had expectations on that partner or how the breakup would be, or thoughts about myself, expectations about what was happening and how I couldn't necessarily control it, I again would get deflated and let down and not be able to move forward towards attracting a person in as well. And so this doesn't happen just in our business and coaches, it happens in every aspect of life, but I want to hone in on coaching specifically, but you can apply this to any part for yourself. So I'd love you to think about a time where you've maybe seen this occur in your life. Has anyone else found they've had a time where they've expected a certain result, they've expected an outcome, they've expected this post will create this amount of interactions, even this many likes, they've expected this marketing technique is going to get this many leads, or this technique's then going to create this many sales, and you haven't got it, and you felt deflated, disappointed, down, and it's affected your action. Has anyone ever found that before? Give me something. I'm sure you have. If you don't want to say, don't want to admit it, some people don't want to necessarily admit these things, but this is something that happens for a lot of people. So I want to talk to you today about 3 key things that you can do so that when you get a setback or when things don't go to your expectations or they're not going according to plan, how you can bounce forward out of it instead of feeling really low down, depressed about it for a long time, stopping your business, giving up altogether, how you can sort of feel it, express it, and bounce forward and keep moving on. So the first thing that I want you to think about with how you can maybe actually move forward is your attachment versus a preference. Now, I've mentioned this in different little videos before, but I just want to explain this a little bit more. If you are attached to an outcome, it's going to have a lot more effect on you versus if you have a preference. So if you are, again, doing a post and you think it's going to get this amount of likes or engagement, and you're expecting that and you think this is what is the minimum, I need to get 50 likes or I need to get 20 or whatever it is, or you think I'm going to do this strategy and I'm going to do an ad, or I'm going to do, the pro bono post, or I'm going to do something, I'm going to do a strategy, and I'm expecting this many people are going to come to me, right? And you've got these expectations. Sometimes we don't even say them, but we just have them in our head. We have numbers in our heads, thoughts of how it's going to play out in our head. Now, if you're attached to it, you basically feel like you need to have this thing to occur and happen the way that you're planning out, right? And you often can tell you're attached to it because it will deflate you if you don't get it. And, you know, you might get it. You may get that level of what you're wanting. But if you're attached, you're going to keep wanting the same sort of approach, and you're going to keep needing it to stay above. And it's all dependent on this all working and you getting success and getting it the exact way you want. That's what attachment is. When it's a preference, what I want you to do, instead of, this is a really key way and a really key word for you to use that will shift it towards a preference. What I'd love you to start using is this language, which is, wouldn't it be nice if ... Wouldn't it be nice if I got heaps of engagement in this post and it really resonated with my people and it was valuable? Wouldn't it be nice if I got 10 leads coming in this week, 10 new people considering and interested in me? Wouldn't it be nice if I got 3 calls this week, sales calls? Wouldn't it be nice if, you know, I got 2 new clients this month? Whatever it is, right? Just using that language. And the reason for that is, imagine you're on like a sales call. You can tell the difference. And I mentioned this in the Leads Challenge. If you haven't been in the Leads Challenge, let me know. There's a whole lot of great content in there. Put a comment in here that you'd like to know more. But if you're on a sales call and before you get on, you're thinking and you're assuming, I need this money, I need this client, I need them to sign up. And so you're in this attached phase, you're in this desperate phase, you're in this separation phase where you don't have it and you're needy and desperate and wanting them. If they sense that energy in you, and which we do, we can sense energy in anyone. You know, you can sense when someone's a bit afraid or something. We as women, we're very intuitive in that way as well. Then that is going to push someone away. It's going to repel them, propel them further away from you. And you're also going to get more deflated on the end of the call if that doesn't go ahead. And it's going to affect your business and whether you are trying to go on another sales call because you'll feel all rejected and down and upset. But if you actually got on the call and you said, hey, it would be awesome just to add value here and to just see if we're a good match or not. It'd be great if I can get the 2 sales this month, but you know, this may work with this person or might not. It's okay. There's a preference, but there's an openness, a curiosity. It's going to be cool either way. Okay, that's a completely different energy for how much you show up on the call, how mindful you are, how present you are, how much value you can give to someone, and also how much they're actually going to like you and interact and be drawn to you or not. So that's the first one. And I've given you a couple of little examples, but as I said, this can apply to whether you're attached or you prefer an outcome in a whole lot of different aspects of life. Please, if you're watching right now or later, just write a comment. What was your key takeaway from that? Because I just shared a fair bit and I'm talking fast because I'm all excited. So I hope you took something away. But if you could just share a comment of what you took away, that would be awesome. Well, I have a sip of my tea. I'll see, there's normally a delay in your comments, so comment away and I'll come back to it. The second part that I want you to take note of is input versus output. So a lot of the time, you know, we might be focusing so heavily on what result we are after, what thing that it is that we are really wanting in our business or in our life, the weight loss journey that people may be on or the relationship goal that they may have. A lot of the time we are so focused on just the end game, the end result, the things that we're after. But actually, they are the things that we don't have specific control over. There are so many factors coming into play about whether one post is going to lead to a whole lot of people liking it or not. There's so many reasons of why that's going to occur or not. There are so many reasons of why someone's going to attract to you and be a lead or not. So many reasons for why someone's going to be a sale or not, or you're going to get more clients or not. There are so many factors, right? So we necessarily can't fully control how much weight you're losing in a month. Any of those things. They're things that we have an element and degree of influence over, but not full control over. Whereas our inputs, which are our actions, our thoughts, our emotions, all of these things, how we consistently show up and how we consistently take action, our effort, that is something we have full control over. And so we want to actually be continuing to focus on our inputs, our actions, being consistent. And I know when I was a teacher, this is something that they used to speak a lot about as well for kids. I'm always acknowledging and being proud of my effort and my action, and that's what I continue to acknowledge, and that's what I continue to congratulate myself on, and that's what I celebrate, and that's what I see on my wins. And I actually put way more emphasis on that. Same as for my son. I put so much more emphasis on the giving it a go, the effort, the trying, all that elements, the continual action, the consistent action. Put way more emphasis on it than I do just the specific wins of my results I get. One, because I enjoy the journey and the process a whole lot more, and I'm present and I'm enjoying the journey. But two, I'm more likely to continue to be consistent because my brain is getting rewarded for just showing up and doing the actions. And I'm getting excitement from that. And so consistency is always key in business. Consistency and persistence is, Steve Jobs, the quote I put in for this post for tonight, persistence is basically one of the key factors that determine those who are going to be succeeding in business or those who are going to fail. And so you need to see that consistency matters beyond anything. If you just have 1 month or a couple of months in your business where you go hard and you go full on and you try so hard, but you don't get the result you want, so you give up, that's going to mean that you're not probably going to move forward and you're not going to get the success you want in your business. But if you focus on inputs, you focus on actions, you focus on consistency, you're going to keep, and the last point I'm going to share is important for this to matter, but you're going to keep improving, progressing, getting better. And that is what's going to sustain you in the long term. We know the tortoise and the hare example. We know so many examples. Sorry, I'm getting a few messages. That it's the slow, steady race that really matters. It's the consistent race that matters. It's not about these quick sprints. The people who are going to just go full on hard hustle mode and then get disappointed because they don't get the result they want. So focus on, congratulate yourself on your effort and your input and those things that you're in control of compared to the output and the focus on that. I'm not saying you can't have preferences and goals and visions. Of course, that's all important, but primarily spend most of our time here because this is what we can control. This is what we can alter. That's not so much. That is just something I'm going to share in the last point. Again, ladies, you're being quiet tonight. Write me a comment. Write me something that you're taking away so far. I know there's a few people coming and going watching, so let me know what your thoughts are. What's the key thought that's coming out to you right now out of how to deal with these setbacks? Maybe it's too personal of a topic or something for you. What's going on? We're just being silent. I hope I'm in my group and not the personal page too, because this is meant to be adding value to you guys. All right, I'm going to move on, but I want to see some comments, some thoughts. I like to talk to people instead of just looking at my face. Okay, cool. So the last point. This last point for you and how you're going to overcome this and deal with this really well is that you really need to have this concept that everything you do and are experiencing is research. Please write research in big capital letters if you're making any notes. I want you to have this concept and this principle that you are always winning, you're always growing. And it's either a win in terms of the actual result that you're after, or if it's not, and it's not the result you're after and we're hoping for, then it's learning. So you're always winning. It's either you're winning because you're getting the result you want and you're on track to getting what you're wanting, or you're learning. And this is a huge concept because, like I said, it's really important to focus in on our inputs and not necessarily on the outputs. But the whole thing that you need to have with that concept, consistency is key, slow and steady. Yeah, awesome, Sharon. It is very important. And, I speak to, I told you guys that I've got coaches who are earning multi-millions, and the higher up I go with the success of these coaches I work with and speak with is that consistency is the most important thing. Steve Jobs wrote that comment about persistence is actually the thing that determines a successful and a non-successful entrepreneur. It's just given. And again, it makes sense. If you're going to stop midway because you've got all these expectations, you're in hustle mode, you're not giving yourself space and grace, it's obviously going to occur that you're not going to keep going. It seems a bit commonsensical, but most people don't know this and most people don't do this. I see so many women burning out because of this factor, that they're not focusing on consistency. And so, yes, the input-output thing's important, but what I want you to take is the always learning. And so if you're putting all these inputs in, you're putting all this value in, you're putting all this posts in and you're not getting the engagement, or you're putting all this work into getting leads, but they're not coming in. If you're doing all of that, but then this output's not the same, you need to start asking questions. and being curious and looking at, okay, let's be really mindful here. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to say, what the heck's wrong with you? Why are you trying all this and not getting this outcome? I'm just going to say, what's going on? If this was a conveyor belt and I've got all these inputs and it's meant to equal this, obviously something's going off here. This is just feedback. Our results are just feedback that something's off, something's not working, we're not congruent, or we're not obviously being maybe clear enough, or maybe we're not targeting our niche enough, or maybe we're not certain in ourselves enough, or we're not valuing ourselves, we don't have self-worth. Whatever it is, if this isn't equating to your inputs, there has to be something on. There's got to be something wrong with the conveyor belt. You need to start taking research. Not research as a critical eye, you idiot, what the heck are you doing? What's wrong with you? Slap, 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 which is often what we do. That's judgment, and that's never going to help us learn anything. If we're judging ourselves, we don't learn anything. We're under so much pressure, we can't have any observation and learning. So what you need to have is this sense of research, that you're doing market research on yourself, you're a scientist, researcher, whatever, on yourself, looking back. Oh, okay, what's going on here? Like, I'm just observing. This is going on, but this isn't happening. What do I need to tweak? And when we have that approach, it takes away the personalization. It takes away the pain. It takes away the hurt. And we can start to be a bit more objective, a bit more mindful, and see how we're going to move forward. So the research hat is really helpful if you are approaching, so it's all in line, okay? So firstly, I said I want you to approach what your goal is as a preference and an attention and a desire, but not a desperate need and attachment that you have to have it or you will not be okay. That's the first thing. So you have to approach whatever you're doing with that intention. And then you want to focus on your inputs, focus on your actions, focus on your thoughts, your emotions, all the things you have control over. Focus on those things. And then the third part is you want to have the research mindset that then analyzes, okay, I came into this with this great intention, I did this work, but it didn't quite work the way I wanted to. What can I take feedback on? What can I learn? It's really important that's at the end. A lot of the time we overanalyze, we have analysis paralysis. Before we take any action, we just think, oh, maybe it's not going to work. Oh, maybe no one's going to like this post. And we don't take action. We can't get research and information if we're not doing anything. So that's important, that's at the end. You need to look at the feedback and then go through the process again. It's a linear process that I've given you, okay? So ladies, this is the main stuff I wanted you to know. The people who've watched through at the end, jump on and watch the start again. The ladies who've watched through though, I'd love to see your comments. I've only heard from Sharon today, and there's a fair few, and maybe Kate. There's a few of you guys watching, so jump on. What's your biggest takeaway, biggest feedback? And as I said, this is stuff that applies for our coaching business and our success as a coach, but it applies for our health, it applies for our relationships, it applies for every aspect of life. I was going to add one last little bomb in there. What was it? While you guys are thinking of your comments, I'm going to just have a quick think about one last thing I was going to add. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you too, Sharon. Very cool. The last thing I wanted to add for you, ladies, and this is an amazing distinction that I found to be one of the most helpful things in overcoming any setbacks or when things haven't aligned to the way I've expected how they're going to be. And this is that you keep setting another goal and another set of intentions and another set of inputs after. So here's your intention. Here's the preference of what you'd love to have happen. How you'd like this campaign for marketing to go, how you'd like how many sales you have or clients you get this month or whatever it is, right? You do the inputs, you do the actions, you focus on taking the action. Then you do the research of, okay, that didn't quite work the way I wanted, or maybe some of it did, but some of it didn't. What can I take away? What can I improve for next time? The purpose and the best thing I can say to you, ladies, about continuing to move forward instead of getting down and staying down. It's okay to get down if you don't have exactly what you want, but it hurts us more when we're staying down for longer, and that's because we're more attached. The best thing you can then do is have another set of goals, another set of intentions, another plan of action you're going to take to get there. So for me personally, the easiest way I can tell you this is I always have a lot of leads coming in at any one point in time. And I basically am having like 5 sale calls a week at least. And I only work sort of 10 hours a week. So that's a lot of my time doing that. So I don't care if a sale doesn't work in a call. I'm there to do value. I don't mind if it doesn't go ahead or not. That's not actually what I care. I take feedback of it, move forward. If I only had one call in a month and that was the one time I get the chance to win someone and get a client, then of course I'm going to be attached and anxious and needing that person. But if I'm constantly going through this process, constantly evolving, constantly having moving parts and more leads coming in and more things coming, I don't ever need one person or one thing to work. There's always a new marketing plan. There's always a new thing I'm doing. And so that's really key, because it also applies for relationships. I know for me, when I broke up with my husband at the beginning, I thought I literally was going to be this like alone forever, because he was the one man I loved and that was it. I'm done. Now I've lost my soulmate and that's it. And any other guy, I remember there was one guy I liked, about a year after that. And I thought he was it again. And if I don't get him, that's it. If you think with that mentality, or you think, oh, I can't lose weight now. I've tried this last diet and I can't do it anymore. If we think with that mentality, we're going to get depressed and down and deflated and not move forward. But if we're always taking this as a process, we're going to be a lot better and more okay. So thanks, Sharon, for commenting. Ladies, I'd love to see your key takeaways from this, what your thought was. And if you watched it at the end, go back, watch the start and comment away. And any questions you have as well. But otherwise, I hope that's been of value to you. And I'm going to jump out, and any questions, write in here or send me a message. If you are struggling with something and you're really in a setback, you're feeling really hit and your mindset's sort of off with your business or something as well, or just in life too, then please reach out. I always want to help women the best I can. So otherwise, girls, love you and leave you. Have a good night. Bye.